it's probably better to make this a video than to be writing these long ass comments and posts that I do to get people understanding of what's happening in boxing business. First off, I box, I've done MMA, I've done kickboxing, I've been to these contracts, I've been sent to business. Anybody in the business who's not a fighter is only about the business. And so business is about mitigating loss. What is mitigating loss? It's risk management. It's like, yo, we might lose here. How big would this loss be? Versus how much could we possibly make? Well, if they lose to Bud, you lose all the 147. Notoriety, it brings PBC down a notch, at least, big time. If Bud loses, it's just another fighter that loses. He wanted to test himself. That's his business. That's what ends up happening. Spence would win. But Spence, Bud, they're not afraid. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you a math teacher. Let's say you a mechanic. Let's say you do computer science. Let's say, you're a carpenter. Man, you don't know shit about fighting. You ain't never been in the ring. You ain't never had no contract. There's a fight contract. Man, listen, then we just fans, we talking. And that's cool. There's a lot of things, ways you can participate in the conversation and discussion, but you don't know shit about this. But this is like the easiest for any fighter that's out here, but they don't want to hurt, they don't want to mess up their business chances with Al Heyman. They already know, this is easy, this is simple, you know what I'm saying? This is basically Al Heyman, we're going to go get a washed up Keith Thurman and have him fight, Spence, but we also not going to say we're going to put those on the line. They're not going to give away that. He's going to come back to 147, but that's possible. Now, within that time, they're hoping that Bud does another fight and he loses, that he gets somebody who's, a welterweight. There's nobody out there that can beat him right now. So they really up against the wall right now. This is all business. If you don't understand the business of fighting, you don't understand business, mitigating loss, that's the main thing. It's not just getting money, it's also preventing your losses. So what's the big losses? Each person's side. Spence, he a fighter. You want to see if he the best. Crawford, he a fighter. You want to see if he the best. So now whoever's controlling them, they got to be loyal to them. And it also going to be, when you be loyal to them, you got to listen to their business practice. They listen, we'll even if we end up fighting, we going to try our best to try to, fight where it's on a high scale. It's already on a high scale. It's high enough where they're going to do really, really good, right? So, but PBC, Al Heyman is what if we can get rid of Bud? What if somebody can beat him and now he's no longer at that top tier right now while we just fighting inside? So they rather just fight inside. But if they can, but they also want to sign Bud. So they're if we can't sign him, then forget him. You know what I'm saying? That's just smart business that they're trying to, but it's bad for boxing. It's bad for boxing, but it's just smart, sound business. Any business person is automatically gonna be yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, the dude that's knocking everybody out in 147. What? The dude that is said to be pound for pound. The dude that is said to be pound for pound by the last 3 pound for pound dudes that we really respect. Well, who are they? Roy Jones Jr. say that Crawford is pound for pound. Don't worry about what you say. If you ain't been in the ring and you ain't at the top caliber, I'm just reminding you that I happen to be a fighter, but who used to fight. But I'd rather just listen to what Mayweather is saying, what Andre Ward is saying. The last 3 pound for pound, all of these dudes say that it is Bud Crawford. So let's say that maybe that's not the case. When it come down to business, they doing best practices. They shit, well, these were the professionals or something. Well, I done heard from the professionals. That's all I need to hear about. That's all I need to hear from is the professionals. Man, definitely, this is all, debatable. But folks nah, he came off, he loves it. Man, Al Heyman was trying to keep Bud from fighting in 2022 so that he don't have his engine oiled, so he's not ready, he's not loose. They trying to keep him out. They was trying to make sure they were gonna keep him on the phone. It was smart to have that in his pocket. But I don't have to tell you. What you mean? I had to tell you that I'm doing business. Man, it don't never work that way. Man, if I'm looking to close on this place, man, I might be also looking to close on that place, and my money can't stretch to be on this one and that one. I don't have to tell you that I'm doing business on there. We not on the same business one. We go on the phone. We not even in the same table. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't showing me no kind of respect. I'm not showing you that kind of respect. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that Bud doesn't have the leverage with these folks on YouTube who man, they gotta, you know what I'm saying, send Al Heyman and PBC their praises, and they gotta watch their step, because mess around and you're not interviewing none of the other fighters that's on PBC. This is just like, I understand it's like the back of my hand, like it's just the easy stuff, but I know some folks who really love, you know what I'm saying, Spence and all that, and his fighting. Me too. I ain't never been to Omaha, but I'm pretty sure, man, I don't think Spence beating Bud. He ain't beating Bud, man. It's like, I don't care how much fights you see, you ain't beating, you're just not going to beat Bud, because they both can get touched, right? So they both can get touched, but who's knocking folks out when they touch them? Who got the movement? Man, that's Bud, man. It's so rare to have power in both hands, to be able to switch and be able to move around. It's just, man, Spence is tight. Actually, I didn't feel like he got really hit really that much, except for the Kell Brook fight. He really, showed like, and that was a different Kell Brook than Bud. But guess what? There's nobody out here, no one on Spence's resume that anybody's gonna say, yeah, I think that person could be. No, you wouldn't say that it could be Bud. So there's where it doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? And when Bud already said, okay, well, you just take more of the bread. So, but the transparency is just going over people's heads. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't have the transparency in data. There's a promoter who's making a certain amount of money, then you want to know what the money comes in. If you get money on the back end, you want to know, how much is actually, coming in. And then they wanted to be like, and he would still be and then Spence would still be the A side on the second fight. Like that just say automatically, like Al Heyman had to be shocked. What? You'll take this and you'll take that. Well, I'm gonna throw you the transparency. You ain't gonna get no transparency. Let me see you now. And so then now Bud is like, man, I'm gonna fight for nothing. I'm just gonna fight for just, bragging rights, just for the belts, and no money. Like it's prize fighting now. Like I did amateurs, and now they don't want me to. Like it's business. It has nothing. It's not on Spence. Spence got to be loyal. You know what I'm saying, to his dude. Understand that. That's just clear. But when it becomes obvious when one dude doesn't have somebody who is folks in it just for the business. On Bud's side, it's just him. He's negotiating, himself. So anytime, so that becomes just easy. So you're just looking for the props, and you're just looking to just show people you number one. He's been doing that for 10 years. I watch people, you gotta just watch something that's been happening regularly. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just, guess, well, they was probably trying to do this. No, if we go back to each one and how they were moving along, then we know Bud always is trying to be, the best. And I feel like Spence went with PBC, and so it's tough to see what, and they both really wasn't talkers, and PBC is more just trying to just like, they more glitz and glamour, man. They more glitz and glamour. They more shine. They more lights. They not really about that action. And so we see a fighter like who's like Bud, and it's like, man, he action packed when he ended. And he got all the tools. So Spence got all the tools, but it's like we could all just guess, all have opinions, let them fight. But who's holding it up? 100% Al Heyman, PBC. Let's be honest.